Hey everybody, Davis Tallow coming at you once again with another Rocky Mountain rankings on this lovely late winter day. And yeah, I thought we were done with snow here in the Rocky Mountains, but apparently not. Of course, we're in March where anything can happen, and well, it did last night. So we got about an inch of snow, maybe a little bit more. Of course, that's out west here. Could be more in town in Ogden. Who knows? But anyway, it's nice and sunny today, but it's not going to be very warm. I think it's supposed to be in the 40s, and by Thursday, back down to 25, a little freezing. Boy, I can hardly wait. I just love it when it warms up and then it cools down. I mean, we were in the 60s, I believe, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 60s. We were loving it. And of course, now we're heading back to cold weather. So anyway, enough about that. You also notice that I'm got four eyes today. It's strange. I can see far away just fine. I used to be nearsighted. Now I'm farsighted on occasion. Some days I can see fine up close without these. Today, no. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I'm gonna wear them today. So anyway, we're doing Black Sabbath, ranking the albums, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to do all their albums. Did I just want to do Ozzy's era, then do Dio's era, then Tony Martin's era, and. But I decided no, let's do the whole thing because they're all great albums, even the ones I don't listen to very much. So anyway, we got a lot of players on Black Sabbath. Of course, Black Sabbath started like 1968, 69 area, and they were called Earth. And from what I understand, Ozzy hated that name, so hence why they got rid of it. Of course, classic lineup: Tony Iommi, Bill Ward, Terrence Geezer Butler, and Ozzy. Then you had a lot of different players. You had Dave Walker, uh, singer guitarist, who's also been a number of bands. So it's the Idle Race, Say Boy Brown, Fleetwood Mac. I think he filled in or maybe did some guitar work on, during their tour in 77, 78. Doesn't really say. But, of course, then you got Ronnie James Dio, uh, did vocals. Of course, he passed away in 2010. It's too bad. Great singer, great gentleman. Jeff Nichols played keyboards for the band. Greg Gruber just played bass for him in '79. Vinny Appice, who played drums. Ian Gillan, who did vocals on Born Again, of course. Bev Bevan, drums on Eternal Idol, and also toured with them during the Born Again tour. Oddly, Ron Keel, you know who Ron Keel is, a singer. Did some vocals for him in '84. I can't remember. I think he had to fill in. But anyway, Dave Donato did some vocals for him too. Let's see. Dave Donato, American singer known for his involvement in Black Sabbath, recorded several demos with the band. Okay. But he didn't really do anything else other than record some demos, looks like. Probably the same as Ron Keel. Of course, then you got Eric Singer, Did drums for him on Seventh Star and Eternal Idol, plus the tours. Uh, Jim Fenholt did some vocals for him, 85. Gordon Copley, did bass, like on Seventh Star. With Dave Spitz, did bass for him. Glenn Hughes, of course, did vocals. Ray Gillen. Looks like you can get Seventh Star reissue bonus live tracks with him on vocals. Bob Daisley did bass with him on Eternal Idol. Tony Martin, of course, did quite a few albums with him. Terry Chimes, some drum work. Joe Burt, bass work for him. Of course, then you got Cozy Powell, who did a number. Headless Cross, Tear, and Forbidden, drums for him. Lawrence Cottle, bass on Headless Cross. Neil Murray did bass on Tear and Forbidden. Then Bobby Rodinelli, drums on Cross Purposes, and of course, Cross Purpose Live. But yeah, then they had Mike Borden. He was the drummer for Faith No More. Did drums for him in '97. Adam Wakeman, keyboards and guitar. Of course, these guys were just on the tours. Scott Warren, keyboards, piano, and Tommy Clufetos. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. Did drums for him on their number of tours. The end tour. Of course, there's a lot of session players. Rick Wakeman did piano synthesizers on Black Sabbath. Let's see. Yeah, Sabracadabra only. Jez Woodrolf, keyboards on Technical Ecstasy, along with Don Airy, keyboards on Never Say Die. John Elstar, Monica on Never Say Die, Swing the Chain Only. Brian May did some guitar on Headless Cross. When Death Calls. Wow, I did not know that. Of course, Ice-T did some vocals on Forbidden Illusion, The Illusion of Power. Mike Exter, I guess how you pronounce it. I'm terrible with names. Keyboards, engineer, production on W No. W knows Heaven and Hell. Oh, keyboards on 13, production only. Okay, no, production only on keyboards on 13. Keyboards on the W No. Okay, and then Bob Wilk, drums and percussion on 13, and the end studio tracks only. There's some more information here. On touring, Rob Halford did vocals. Halford replaced Dio at 2 shows in November 1992, and later substituted for Osborne at 1 in August of 2004. Oh, interesting. Shannon Larkin did drums. Larkin substituted for touring drummer Borden, who was unavailable at a rescheduled Ozfest show in July 1st, 1997. Then Bjorn Landy did vocals. Landy and Glenn Hughes replaced the deceased Dio at the high. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this. After Dio passed away, they still had some tours or some uh, tour dates, and he did the vocals along with Glenn Hughes at the High Voltage Festival in July 2010. So interesting. So they've had quite a few people work for him. Of course, when you're a great bland, when you get when you're a great bland, when you're a great band like Black Sabbath, you got people wanting to play, sing, play drums, guitar, whatever. I know. If I could, I would. You know. But anyway, uh, yeah, a lot of players. So anyway, let's get this going here. For those who don't know how this works, I start out with my least favorite and work up to my favorite. And thing is, oh, excuse me. Along with the cold comes with post nasal drip. That's why I don't like the cold. One of the reasons. Let's put it that way. So anyway, for those that you don't know how the works, I start with my least favorite and work at my favorite. Just because it's my least favorite doesn't mean I hate it anyway. It just means I don't reach for it as much. And there's usually a good reason. And the thing is my number one could change place with my number 2 or 3 or 4 down the road. But right now, this is how I view these. And as usual, this was tough. My least favorite was okay. It was easy. But as I got up to the high, the upper 10, really became tough. So like I said, these could change places anytime. I could do this next week, and it could be number 1 could be totally different. So anyway, let's get this started here. This album, I don't think I've heard anybody come out in support of this album. It's okay. The problem is it was totally different from anything. I mean, I think they were trying to be more mainstream, but when they put this out. But anyway, released June 1995. Got, of course, the infamous Forbidden. Now, some people say they don't like the artwork. I really think this artwork's really good. Let me take this out. And I kind of like this kind of stuff where it's got all these different things going on. You got the band in there, different people involved. See that? No band pictures. The rest of it's just the lyrics. But yeah, this artwork I really dig. It's got Cozy Powell in there, Neil Murray, Ice-T. Everybody that was involved. Some people, I have no idea who they are. But anyway, as far as the music goes, like I was saying, it's the production's good, not great, but it's good. The songs were put together well, but it's just not a Black Sabbath album. Of course, I know there's a lot of people that argue that any albums with Tony Martin, and without Geezer, Ozzy, or Bill, it's not Black Sabbath. But show me a band other than like ZZ Top who hasn't gone through personnel changes. I mean, at least with one person. I mean, by this time, day and age, all the bands that started off in the late 60s, 70s, they've gone through a ton of personnel changes. People get older, they lose interest, they're not interested in what the band's putting out. So, yeah, it's, look at bands like Deep Purple. I mean, if you really look at it, the only original member left in the band is Ian Pace, the drummer. The rest, I mean, Ian Gillan, he didn't come on the scene until 69. Roger Glover, same, So, yeah, you're always going to have, of course, you're always going to have those purists that argue the point and say, no, I don't like this band, I only like the original band. Well, that's you, but me, I like everything that Black Sabbath did, and it's Black Sabbath, even though when it doesn't sound like Black Sabbath, which this really doesn't, to the fault. You got Illusion of Power with Ice-T doing a little vocal in the background. Get a Grips, all right, can't get close enough. Shake Off the Chains. I Won't Cry for You, Guilty as Hell, Sick and Tired, Rusty Angels. I kind of dig that song. Forbidden's good. Kiss of Death. There's a Japanese bonus edition, has Loser Gets It All. I haven't heard that song, but anyway, you had Tony Iommi on guitars, Tony Martin on vocals, Cozy Powell on drums, Neil Murray on bass, and Jeff Nichols on keyboards, and Ice-T. This will be last. I think Tony Cozy Powell passed away. Yeah, 98. So 3 years later, he was gone, which is too bad. He was a great drummer. Did a lot of drum work for different people. The Jeff Beck Group, Rainbow, Michael Schenker Group, Gary Moore, Robert Plant, Brian May, White Snake, Emerson, Lake and Powell, and of course Black Sabbath. He played with quite a few bands. So yeah, it's too bad he passed away. But yeah, it is a Black Sabbath album, but it isn't. And when I can't remember the last time I heard this. I listened to this. So yeah, but definitely check it out. Just because I don't like it very much doesn't mean you won't. You can listen to this and say, hey, this is a fantastic album. So yeah, that's number 19, Forbidden. Alrighty, now we're up to number 18. Moving right along here. Released June 10th, 2013 through Vertigo Records. Their first studio album in 18 years. Longest gap between albums. Of course, we're talking about 13. Interesting album cover. Mixed feelings on this album. It is a Black Sabbath album because, of course, You got three of the main players. Would have been better if you had Bill Ward playing on it, but and the songs are decent. I'm just I don't know, having a hard time figuring out do I like. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good songs. I mean, it's an essential album, but I just don't go to it as much. I mean, I listened again last night. You know, maybe I just got to give it more of a excuse me, more of a chance. I don't know, but it starts out with "End of the Beginning," which always kind of makes you suspicious. You know, like what do they mean by the end of the beginning? Is it the end, or are we ending one era and moving into something else? Because they said they were going to do another album after this, the 20th album, but they never got around to doing it. God is Dead. The title turned me right off, and the song I've listened to it, but it just no. If there's one bad track on here, it's that one, for me at least. Loner's okay. This song, like Zeitgeist. I guess it's German. So it's a good song. Age of Reason's good. Live Forever. Okay. Damaged Soul. Dear Father. Now this one has the bonus disc. It's got Methodemic, Peace of Mind, and Pariah. Haven't really listened to those too much. But yeah, it's definitely a Black Sabbath album. Uh, and I definitely have to give it more of a chance. But right now it's low on the list here. At number 18. Was it Forbidden? For Forbidden, it would be dead last. But anyway, maybe down the road it'll sink more in. You never know. You know, I've had albums that I didn't like at one point, and years later I've revisited it, and I thought, God, this is pretty good. And listened, just fell in love with it again. So anyway, moving right along here. Okay, this next one, number 17. I know there's a lot of people out there that say this is definitely not a Black Sabbath album, even though it has the title on it. When I first heard it, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not their best work, and of course it's only got one of the main or original players on it, but I really like it. But right now it's low on my list. Kind of hasn't aged too well over the years, but there are times I'll go back to it and enjoy it. But anyway, released January 1996. January 1986. It was supposed to be Tony Iommi's solo album. Of course, we're talking about Seventh Star. Of course, first off, having just Tony on the cover, if you're going to put this out as a Black Sabbath album, and this is directed toward the record label, which let's see, who put this out? Where is it? It doesn't say. Cherokee Studios. Oh, yeah, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. Yeah. But anyway, I tell the powers that be at Warner Brothers, if you're going to put out this Black Sabbath album, don't just put one player on the album. And in fact, don't put any of the players on the album cover at all. You know, maybe on the back, that's good for the back. But it'd been better if all, you know, you got this whole blank area over here, and Tony's by himself. Like, oh yeah, Tony played everything on the album. Uh, this background, you got this background, stuff going on here, would have been good. But Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi. I don't know. It's the record execs, record companies. You kind of make you wonder, how do they get by? How did they make money making bad decisions like this? Tony didn't want this as a Black Sabbath album. Uh, uh, Glenn Hughes has said that he didn't want this to be a Black Sabbath album, but they were just said, no, sorry, you want this album out, it's got to have the Black Sabbath title on it. Why? I have no idea. I think this probably would have been more receptive better by the fans had it been Tony Iommi and Friends or something like that. Heck, maybe it came out with a different band name, called the band Seventh Star. But anyway, aside from that, it's got some very strong tracks here. Let me get rid of this thing. Starts out strong with "In for the Kill." Love that. The harmonies on that. Glenn Hughes just nails it strong on that album. In fact, he does great on the whole album. No Stranger to Love, fantastic, moody. Turn to Stones, fantastic. Sphinx, the Guardian, that leads into Seventh Star. I love Seventh Star. Of course, I think my overall favorite song on it is "In for the Kill." Danger Zone's great. Heart Like a Wheel's good. Then it kind of gets a little weak, with Angry Heart in Memory. But all in all, is it a Black Sabbath album? Well, technically, yes. It's more Tony Iommi solo album, but I'm going to include it here because number one, it's got Tony Iommi in it, and it's got Black Sabbath on it. So, and I do like the songs. I just don't reach for it as much now as I used to. But like I said, it can change. So anyway, number 17, Seventh Star. Okay, we're number 16. Released August 1983. The only album recorded with, of course, Ian Gillan. As I'm talking about. The Red Baby album. Secondary title, Born Again. A lot of people hate that album cover. I mixed feelings on it, but it definitely is an eye catcher. It definitely gets you thinking. If you're going through record albums and you come across this, you'd like, if you didn't know who Black Sabbath was, you'd be like, "My gosh, what is this?" There's okay, on the back. There's Ian Gillan, Bill Ward, Tony and Geezer. But yeah, you definitely go, wow, I can check this out. Who is Black Sabbath? I've never heard of them. Of course, if you've never heard of them or even lived under a rock. So anyway, when I heard Ian Gillan was going to be singing for Black Sabbath, I was like, okay, that's good. That's going to be interesting. And it was. It was. I think this is a great album. It's not upper echelon, to me at least. Not right now. Maybe back in the past it would have been, but Right now, I don't reach for it too much, though. There are times when I go to it, and I think, "Oh, this is great." Starts with "Trashed." So, excuse me. Some people, a lot of people say that it's not a Black Sabbath song. It's more of an Ian Gillan solo song, which I tend to agree. Uh, it just, well, out of all of them, there's a few others that'll come that are to come here, but "Trashed" is doesn't really sound like a Black Sabbath album or song, but it is great. I love it. Goes into Stonehenge instrumental that fades into Disturbing the Priest, which is more of a Black Sabbath song. Then that goes into the Dark, which is a weird noise. It kind of harks back to FX from I think Volume 4. Then that fades into Zero to Hero, which I love. That's my favorite song on the whole album. Uh, Side B, Digital Bitch. Yeah, not a really a Black Sabbath song, but it has that flavor, that hard edge. But I love it. Another great song. Born Again's, you know, Black Sabbath song. Hotline. Uh, no, they could have got rid of that song. I do not like Hotline. And Keep It Warm. Those two songs are definitely Ian Gillan solo material. They could have jettisoned those two songs and would have been fine. Uh, but all in all, the rest of it, even Trashed, I like it. So anyway, it was too bad that they didn't do a couple more with Ian. It'd been interesting to see what they came up with, but maybe it's best that it was one and done. So anyway, that's number 16, Born Again. Okay, this album, another album doesn't get a lot of love from the fan base. Uh, Released in January 1994. Did have one of the songs played on the radio. I think it's the only song uh, from other than the early material, like Paranoid and Iron Mad and War Pigs to get played on the radio. Of course, I'm talking about Cross Purposes. Uh, Good album cover. Back album covers. This is good. Gives a little face right there. Uh, Not any pictures of the band. Of course, they weren't big into doing photo ops. I guess Tony thought, well, I'm not going to do it. I really like this album to a point. Let's see. Yeah, Tony Martin, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler plays bass on it. Bobby Rondinelli, and Jeff Nichols. Uh, Starts out strong. Eyewitness. Eyewitness. A time and place that never dies. Fantastic song. Then goes into another great song, Cross of Thorns. Moody, dark, menacing. Then it goes another psychophobia, hard driving. The drumming by uh, Bobby, fantastic on that song. I love his drumming on that song. It's all over the place, but it fits the song fantastically. Then it goes into Virtual Death, another haunting, moody song. And then it kind of starts going downhill. Immaculate Deception's okay. Dying for Love, no. Back to Eden, it's okay. The hand that rocks the cradle is the one that got played on the radio for a bit. Uh, that's what got me into this. Let me know that this album was out there. Uh, though I'm not a fan of that anymore. Kind of a takeoff. I think there's a movie that by the same name that came out at that time that it's based on. Uh, it goes to Cardinal Sin and Evil Eye. Evil Eye is a good song. The album ends kind of strong, though it could have been better. It starts out strong, and then it kind of, after Virtual Death, kind of fades away, and then it comes back strong for one song. So, but still, all in all, a good Black Sabbath album. At least you got two of the original members playing on this one. I think Geezer left after they did this. They wouldn't be back until the reunion with Ozzy. So yeah, definitely check it out. Check all these out. That's what this channel's about, getting information about all this stuff out to you, the fans. So anyway, number 15, Cross Purposes. Now, I know I'm going to be a lot of flack for this one, but this is how I feel. This is me. If you like this album, if you love this is their top tier album, that's you. This is me. If you don't like it, tough. So I'm dead. Released April 25th, 1980. First to feature vocalist Ronnie James Dio. We're talking about Heaven and Hell. With an album cover that some people like, some people don't. It's okay, but I think it's better. Of course, there's a band, that number right there in the corner. I didn't put that there. I bought this of the used. I have this on vinyl. The one I said on CD used for, how much did I pay for this? I think like $5. I got it, Now don't get me wrong, this is a good album, but I just haven't reached for as much. I don't think it's the best the band did with Ronnie James. I think The Humanizer and Mob Rules are better. But still, it's got some great songs. Starts out strong with Neon Nights. Chillin' the Seas, okay. It's just not a big fan. Lady Evil's okay. Heaven to Hell, of course. Great. And then, to me, it kind of dies. Wishing Well, Die Young, Walk Away, and Lonely is the Word. Never have been a big fan of those songs. To me, it could have been this album could have been a little bit harder. Of course, being the first one with Ronnie James, they're probably just trying to get their music legs back. But still a decent album. One I just don't reach for as much, but still it's higher up than the ones that come before it. So anyway, number 14, Heaven and Hell. Okay, number 13. There's a lot of people. Those people who don't like this album. There's people who revere this album. And the ones that don't like this album say, "You put this ahead of Heaven and Hell? How dare you?" Well, too bad. Released April 24th, 1989. Second to feature singer Tony Martin. And the first of three to feature Cozy Powell. Talking about Headless Cross. This album is 99% a Black Sabbath album. Um, if I'd done this 10 years ago, this would probably be higher on my list, but right now I don't reach for it as much as I used to. But still, it is an awesome album. Um, Starts out with Gates of Hell instrumental that goes right into Headless Cross. Heavy, haunting, cozy. It's just hitting on all cylinders on this one. Uh, just love that song. Played it to death when this first came out. Goes to The Devil and Daughters. Fantastic. When Death Calls. Uh, Brian May does the guitar solo on that. When I hear that song, I picture how the stage should be set. I mean, skeletons and ghosts, and stuff. And then at the end, when Death Calls, this cozy drum riser rises up, and this big skull made out of skulls with fire in the eye sockets. I mean, it just, that's what I picture every time I hear that song. It's just menacing. It's just awesome. I mean, even thinking about it right now just gives me chills. Killing the Spirit World is okay. Call the Wild's a good one. Black Moon, I love Black Moon. Nightwing's good, and it has Cloak and Dagger. Picture disc bonus track. I haven't heard Cloak and Dagger. I'm gonna check that out. But all in all, it's a good, solid album, heavy album. Not their heaviest, but it's there. It's, but like I said, when Death Calls, I would love to see that played live. I would love to see it played live. But yeah, if you haven't heard this album, check it out. Just because I get it number 13 doesn't diminish it any means. It's awesome. So check it out. Headless Cross. Okay, another album I'm going to get flack about. Another album a lot of people do not like. And oddly enough, it's also the title of the album is also the name of a band that I like. Released August 1990 on IRS Records. We're talking about Tear. And there is a band called Tear from I can't remember the island, some islands out from I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'll know or murder it. But another album I fell in love with when I first heard it. A lot of people do not like this album. They don't like the album cover. I like the album cover. I mean, it's mysterious. I mean, what's going on there? Of course, it's based a lot on Norse mythology. Starts out with Endo Monday. Fantastic song. Lawbreaker. The Lawmaker. Fantastic. Jerusalem. Love that song. Love it. The Sabbath Stones. Haunting. Menacing. Heavy. Doom, doom. Fire and water. Then you get the Battle of Tear. It's metal. It goes to Odin's Court, haunting, calm, moody, and then this slams you right into Valhalla. I mean, just, I love that. Feels good to me. Not a big fan. It's okay. Heaven of Black, love it. All in all, good, strong album. Though I don't reach for it as much as I used to, it's still one of my all-time favorites. So Definitely check it out. Especially if you like Norse mythology, you'd love this. So number 12, Tyr. Also go check out the band Tyr. They're also into mythology, and a lot of their music is has the lyrics from old uh, Norse songs and stuff. So definitely check Tyr out. So moving right along here. Okay, I know one person who reveres this album. Who, it's his number one album. To me, it's okay. I don't reach for it as much as all the others that are to come. Released in 1972. It was the first album by Black Sabbath not to be produced by Roger Bain. Tony Iommi assumed the production duties. Of course, I'm talking about Volume 4. Pete Pardo on Sea Tranquility. This is I believe, his favorite all-time Sabbath album. And it is. It's a great album. I just don't reach for it as much as others. And it's really totally different from what came before it. Wheels Confusion. You could almost say this is like a prog metal album. Wheels of Confusion is great. Tomorrow's Dream, love that song. Changes, a lot of people don't like that song. I love it. FX is the little instrumental I was talking about that, what was it? There was a song that, on Forbid, or no. Born Again, The Dark, kind of reminded me of this, of FX. They could have done away with that. I don't understand what they were trying to convey there. I guess they were, something to trip you out if you're on some kind of weird mushroom or something. Supernaut's great. Snowblind, it's okay. Not a big fan. Cornucopia, the song that Bill Ward had a tough time with. Laguna Sunrise, all right. Saint Vitus Dance, okay. Under the Sun's great. All in all, it's a strong album. It's proggy, but I just don't reach for it as much as I used to. But sorry, Pete, this is number 11 on my list. I know it's probably number one on yours. So anyway, Volume 4. Okay, another album that's great, but not high on my list. Released July 21st, 1971 on Vertical Records. Really? Some critics dubbed it as a foundation of doom metal, stoner rock, and sludge metal. Sludge metal. That's a new one on me. Sludge metal. What is that? Whatever. Of course, I'm talking about Master Reality. Definitely stoner rock. Definitely, a doom metal. Well, maybe to a little bit, but definitely heavy metal at its finest. Starts with Sweet Leaf. I know it tripped my mom out when she first heard it. After Forever is great. Embryo's good little instrumental that leads into Children of the Grave, which is fantastic. Orchid, another instrumental that leads into Lord of this World, which is fantastic. Solitude, I love that. Nice little calm tune. And then rounds it out with Into the Void. But yeah, good solid album. probably the weakest tracks would be the instrumentals. Not a big fan, but all in all, still great. But definitely check it out. Master Reality. Number 10. We're in the top 10 now. Moving right along. Okay. This one's another album that a lot of people do not like. A lot of people would probably put this at the bottom of their list. I'm putting it in the mid range. Again, produced by Tony Iommi, released September 25th, 1976. Of course, I'm talking about Technical Ecstasy. I really like this album. Starts out with one of my favorite tracks, Backstreet Kid, get you going. You Won't Change Me is great. It's all right. Love Bill's vocals on that. He should have sung more. Gypsy is okay. All Moving Parts, I like that one. Rock and Roll Doctors, okay. One of those songs with me that some days it sounds great, some days it sounds crappy. She's Gone, love it. I mean, one of Ozzy's great melodical vocals. He's not one of those guys that does great on calm songs, melodic songs. And it ends with Strong with Dirty Women, so yeah. A lot of people don't like it, but I do. Coming at number 9, Technical Ecstasy. That album cover, a lot of people don't like it, but it fits it. So, anyway, definitely check it out. Moving right along. Okay. Released December 1973. Another album that a lot of people love. Some people don't. I'm talking about Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Look at that cover. That is definitely a Black Sabbath cover. Of course, the majority of Black Sabbath covers are fantastic, so with a few here, like I've noted, that aren't too great. Of course, starts out with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Then, when I first heard this album, it was really strange because it was more, you had these orchestra, keyboards, things going on, and I'm like, wow, what's up with that? National Acrobats, great. Fluff, could have done without that. Sabracadabra, strange little tune, but it's great. Killing Yourself to Live, it's okay, I'm not a big fan. Who Are You, great. Looking for the Day, and Spiral Architect. Definitely different. They were definitely trying for a different sound here, and they achieved it. At the same time, I think, I don't know about now, but back then they probably managed to divide their fan base. So, but still, today it's a classic album. Definitely one that if you're a Sabbath fan, you need to have in your discography. So, if you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. So, number 8, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. All right, up to number 7. Number 7, released November 1981. Second album with Ronnie James Dio. And the first with drummer Benita Pisi. Also their last one until 92's Dehumanizer. I'm talking about Ma Rules. This one is definitely a lot stronger than Heaven and Hell in my boat. A lot of people will probably disagree with me on that, but this one's harder, heavier, a lot more songs that I enjoy. Starts out with Turn Up the Night, It's basically another fast track, just like Neon Nights on Heaven and Hell. It goes to Voodoo, which is haunting, menacing, but I'm not really a big fan of it. But it's a great song. Don't get me wrong. Sign of the Southern Cross, love it. E5150 instrumental, one of my favorite short instrumentals because it leads right into the Mob Rules. It's just a fantastic track. Never get sick and tired of hearing that one. I mean, you got those songs out there that when you hear them, you love them, but then they just don't age well. This one has aged well with me. I mean, I cannot get sick and tired of it, no matter how many times I listen to it. Country Girl, the only song on here that doesn't fit the Black Sabbath moniker, but still decent song. Slipping Away is great. Falling Off the Edge of the World, love that one. I mean, if I was to rank the songs on this album, Mob Rules would be my number one, followed by Falling Off the Edge of the World and Sign of the Southern Cross, Turn Up the Night. So, Over and Over is okay, but all in all, a lot stronger album than Heaven and Hell. So, and if you haven't heard this one, definitely check it out. It's what's this up here? Oh, okay. I saw this thing that said seemingly satanic verses. Let's see. J.D. Constantine of Rolling Stones gave Mob Rules a negative review in '86. Profiling the album in 2008, Brian Rumsman noted, even with Dio bringing in more fantasy-based lyrics and moving the group away from seemingly satanic verses, the title track Mob Rules, not to mention the menacing cover, could easily imply a call to anarchy. So, whatever. Easily imply. I don't know. What do you think? That imply anarchy? Who knows? Stay tuned. So anyway, that's my number 7, Mob Rules. Okay, we're now getting into the territory where I was really having a hard time deciding what album was going to go where. This album released November 1st, 1987. The first to feature Tony Martin. It was originally supposed to have Ray Gillen on it, but of course he dropped out. Ray Gillen was a strange guy. But anyway, I fell in love with this album when I heard it. It could easily be my number one. But my number one, I think, is just too much of a classic. Of course, I'm talking about The Eternal Island. Album cover, that's okay. I'm not a big fan. Of course, again, no band pictures. But the song list, is strong. Starts out with The Shining. Love it. Ancient Warrior, my number one song on the whole album. Hard Life to Love, great. Glory Ride, oh, fantastic. Born to Lose, great. Nightmare, love it. Scarlet Pimpernel, not a big fan. They could have lost that one. Lost Forever is great, and The Eternal Idol. when I think this came out around the same time as Steven Spielberg movie. The title escapes me. Uh, what was it? I can't think of it. But anyway, just it turned out moody, haunting, menacing. I mean, just ugh. If you haven't heard this album, you definitely got to check it out. I mean, like I said, this easily could have been my number one, but of course you can tell that it's been well used. Uh, but yeah, it's my number was a little bit strong, well, way stronger than this, but still, this is a strong, hard album. So definitely check it out. Okay, top five at five. Another album that could be easily number one. Released July 1975. It was recorded amidst a legal battle with the band's former manager. Um, yeah, a lot of stress and was bringing the band down, but they put out all their anger and stuff out on this album, which makes it a really strong album. Some people don't like it, but I think the vast majority do. Of course, I'm talking about Sabotage. With that infamous cover, and from what I understand, when they didn't realize they were going to be doing a photo shoot this day. That's why they all showed up. Ozzy in this Komodo, Bill Ward wearing his wife's tights. Of course, Geezer and Tony just wearing their everyday duds, something you'd never see them on stage with. But other than that, of course, there's the band on the back. There is some. This one's a remastered edition, so there's a lot of pictures in this one. Of course, there's the infamous back cover. And from what I understand, Bill didn't wasn't wearing any underwear, so he had to borrow Ozzy's. Great band shots. Another good shot of the band. That shot of the band, they're all smiling, and Tony's in the background like, I don't get the joke. What was that? So, another good shot of the band. Of course, Tony is, again, in this one, he's looking, and so is Ozzy. They're looking like, okay, just get this done with. We want to go home. But strong album. I mean, from head to toe. Hole in the Sky, Don't Start Too Late, little instrumental. Symptom of the Universe, fantastic. My number one on the album. Megalomania, strong second. Thrill of All is great. Superstars, okay. Not a big fan. Am I Going Insane? Yeah, Are We Going Insane? And it ends with The Writ. Strong, head to toe. With a few tracks that like Superstars, I'm not a big fan, and Don't Start Too Late, but yeah, this another one of those albums could easily be my number one. But right now, number five, Sabotage. Okay, released February 13th, 1970. The album that started it all, started the ball rolling. Can you guess what it is? Black Sabbath. That famous cover. And that building in the background still exists. Can't remember where it was at. I wonder if it says here. Artwork. Okay. Maple Durham Watermill on the Thames River in Oxfordshire, England. So we got a picture of it here but yeah, that even today it creeps me out. That lady standing there, in the fall colors. What really gets me about this album cover is there's a band that came out just recently. They've got an EP and two studio albums, full-length studio albums out. It's called Green Lung. If you haven't heard Green Lung, you got to check them out. This cover reminds me of their Black Harvest album. I mean, if this hadn't been used by Black Sabbath, it would have been perfect for their album. There's the back cover. But yeah, and the funny thing about this album is it's not really heavy metal per se. It's more of a bluesy metal type. You got Black Sabbath. This is definitely heavy metal. The Wizard, yeah. Then you got things like Behind the Wall of Sleep, it releases NIB, which is definitely heavy metal. But this is interesting. European issue here had a song called Evil Woman instead of Wicked World. Interesting. I didn't know. Okay. That's strange because this one's got Wicked World on it, which I love. Evil Woman. That sounds like a Dio track. Evil Woman. Interesting. Of course, then that goes to Sleeping Village, and then Warning, which is blues, heavy blues. Of course, that's what they were more into back when they were Earth, but still fantastic. I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of my friends back in the day when I first started listening to Black Sabbath, I'd listen to Warning and they'd say, "What the hell is that? Take it off. I hate it." But yeah, this could, another album that could be my number one. If I was to do this number, months down the road, it could very well be. But anyway, it's my number 4. Definitely check it out. If you've never heard this album, definitely check it out. And like I said, check out Greenland. So, moving right along. Okay. Released June 22nd, 1992. Their first in over a decade to feature Ronnie Jane Dio on vocals and Benny Appice on drums. And their first in 9 years to feature original bassist Geezer Butler. Of course, I'm talking about Dehumanizer. Another album, Black Sabbath purists don't care for. I love this album. I fell in love with it the moment I heard Time Machine. I had to have this album. Starts out with Computer God, strong, goes into After All, The Dead, moody, haunting, another moody, haunting song. TV Crimes, love it, hard driving song. Letters from Earth, another haunting song, great. Master Insanity, fantastic. It has a there's two versions of Time Machine. There's the one that was originally recorded for this album, and then the one recorded for Wayne's World. This version of Time Machine, I don't really like. The Wayne's World version is better, stronger, but this includes both versions, by the way. Sins of the Father, love that. Too Late's great. And ends with Buried Alive. From start to finish, other than Time Machine and maybe Too Late. Another album that could be easily my number one. But right now it's number 3. Check this out. I love that cover. Another one of their strong covers. There's the band on the back. And I know a lot of people were hoping that Dio was back permanently with Black Sabbath. Of course, it wasn't meant to be. They did the album, the tour, and then he was gone, back to do his solo stuff. So, of course, he would be with Geezer or Tony again until they decided to do Heaven and Hell, which I love. So, but anyway, that's my number 3, Dehumanizer. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack. But I really don't care. This is me. Again. A lot of people out there I know that loathe this album. It was actually the 3rd album I ever bought of Black Sabbath. First album I bought. In fact, I'm going to tell a little story about how I got into Black Sabbath. But anyway, this is the 3rd one I bought. Released September 1979, or 78, sorry. It was the last studio with, of course, Ozzy. Anyway, talking about Never Say Die. I know there's some of you going, Davies, how can you do that? How can you put Never Say Die in at number 2? You're putting it over albums like Dehumanizer, Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Heaven and Hell? How can you do that? Well, easy. I love this album. I like the songs. I know there are people that will understand that, and there's going to be people out there that cannot understand it. There's going to be people out there going to say, oh, well, he's doing that despite. No, I love this album. Like I said, it was the 3rd album I bought, and that's the way it is. It starts out with, slams you right in the face with Never Say Die. Then it continues with Johnny Blade, fantastic. Junior's Eyes, haunting tune, love it. Hard Road, love it. Shockwave, it's okay. Air Dance, love it. Over to You, great. Breakout, that leads into Swinging the Chain with Bill Ward on vocals. I mean, this was almost my number 1. But all in all, people say, well, this doesn't sound like Black Sabbath. If you read up on Black Sabbath, you understood Black Sabbath, you realize that at this point in time, they were getting tired of being Black Sabbath. They really were. They were looking for other styles. They were tired of the Dungeons and Dragons and ghosts and witches. They wanted to do something different, and you can hear that on Technical Ecstasy. Even Sabotage. They wanted to do different things, and people would not let them do it. And when they did do something different, like this, they got a lot of crap for it. Well, I love this album. It was produced by the band, and it was that period where Ozzy was coming and going. I mean, they almost had a different singer on this. Uh, but yeah, I 99% of this album is so strong with me. I just love it. So I know Pete Pardo gonna wonder, Chris Allo and all them. And so, David is insane. So, but maybe I am. But anyway, I'm glad I'm insane in that one. So anyway, let's move on to number one. Drum roll. Released September 1970. We have the great, fantastic, megalomaniac album called Paranoid, with that cover that people love and people hate, even the back cover. But that's what it is. It is what it is. This album, what can you say? It, even stirred some controversy, apparently. Yeah. An American nurse took her own life, and the Paranoid album was found on her turntable. So, oh my gosh, it must have been the album that did it. Starts out strong, ends strong. Starts out with War Pigs, Paranoid. Of course, a lot of people say they don't need to hear that song, but still, fantastic song. Planet Caravan, haunting, moody. Just takes you this trip, to this far off planet. Iron Man. The moment I heard that song, I fell in love with it. Electric Funerals, great. Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, Fairies Wear Boots. Start to finish. 99.9% perfection. I mean, if there's one point in time when the classic lineup was hitting it on all cylinders, it was this album. Of course, from what I understand, a lot of these songs were written at the same time as the ones that are on the first album. I'm just glad that they waited and released all these songs together on this album. This is the album that I started out with. I want to say 1977. My sister brought home an 8-track tape. If you know what an 8-track tape is, go check it out. I'm not going to try to explain it. It's a loop tape that plays and it has 4 tracks on it. Why they call it 8-track, I have no idea. But anyway, she bought it home and said, "Here, check this out." When I first heard it, I'm like, "What the heck is this? What is this? I'd never heard anything like this before." I was into Kiss, yeah, but this was darker and menacing, and I didn't know what to make of it. So I just took it out and threw it aside. I'm like, what the heck? I really didn't like it at first. Then probably maybe a year later, I took it out again, and I decided, well, I'll check it out again. And then it started clicking with me. So I decided, well, I'm going to check this band out further. And I went out and I found We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll compilation album. Bought it and fell in love. Then I went out and bought Never Say Die. And then all the others. Got all from the first 2 Never Say Die on 8-track. Then of course started going to CDs and stuff, and I bought, or no, it was before CDs. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Then I bought Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. Then ultimately I got all the original albums from Black Sabbath on album, on vinyl, and then I got them on CD. Of course, the only ones I don't have on CD are Born Again and the two I showed you here. Why I haven't got those on CDs yet, I don't know. It's one of those things. But yeah, one of those bands that didn't bite me in the right way at first, but bit me on the second date just right. And it took off from there. I just love this album. Of course, I love everything Black Sabbath's done, from the first album down to 13. Just some more than others. So anyway, this is what this channel is about: getting people interested in these old bands. Keep interest in these old bands. I've had comments where people say, "Well, it's good you're doing this stuff, but who cares about these older bands? Who cares about them?" A lot of people do. If you never heard them before, if you think, "Oh well, who wants to listen to a band from 1970?" Why not? Give it a try. What do you got to lose? Just a few minutes of your time. And good grief, they're bands that I absolutely do not like the Rolling Stones, but I've given it a chance. I've heard their music. I like a few of their songs, but I don't like them. Metallica, I used to love, but I rarely listen to them anymore. Give me Megadeth or Metallica any day. Band like Van Halen. I do not like Van Halen. I kind of liked them. I got a few of their albums, but another band that hasn't aged well with me. But at least I listened to them. At least I gave them a chance. But people out there that say no, I don't want to listen to a band from 1969. They're not relevant. Get it out of my face. Why? You afraid you might like it? You might tear you away from your boogie woogie or your hip hop. I'm sorry, but hip hop is nonsense. Rap, closest I come to rap is Hollywood Undead. But hip hop and rap, there's nothing there. I like, heavy metal, prog rock, rock and roll, all this, like Black Sabbath and Pink Floyd. They're meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, vegetables, a beer, tall glass of milk, a Pepsi, they're all that. Even, the cake and ice cream. I mean, you get, with this music, as far as I'm concerned, you get a 10-course meal. People say, what's a 10-course meal? Well, this is a 10-course meal. You get everything here. So, anyway, check Black Sabbath out. Give them a chance. Give all these bands a chance. Please subscribe. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You can always change your mind later and unsubscribe. I'll get it out there eventually. But leave a comment down below. Leave your own listing of Black Sabbath. Any interesting stories about your introduction to Black Sabbath? Like I said, mine, was like I was slapped in the face by Paranoid and didn't know what to. I'm like, what is this? Oh my gosh. And it was a total shock. I didn't know what to make of it. But I'm glad I give it a second chance. Because I love Black Sabbath, Ozzy, Geezer, Bill, and Tony and all the other players that have come since, and it's a fantastic band. So anyway, check them out, and have a good week, and we'll see you again next Monday. I try to release these on Monday morning at 11 a.m. Been wanting to do more videos on other things, but unfortunately things get in the way. I'm trying to finish my 4th book, get that out. Finally got, in fact, do a little plug here. My 3rd book, under DB5, is out. This is a 2-parter, Dead Boy Saga Part 1, A Nightmare This Way Comes. The next one's going to be called The Harrowing, continuing with Dead Boy Saga. My first 2 books, Days of Future Past and Days of Future Past, The Valley of Forever. You can get all these on Amazon. So I really appreciate your support on that. I'm not a Dean Koontz Stephen King, but I just want to tell a story. And hopefully I'm improving on my writing as I go. I'm not a professional writer, but I'm, trying. And that's all you can do is try and do your best. And remember that. Go out every day and try to do your best every single day. We need to be more friendly in this world. And we've got bad things like over in Ukraine and stuff going on. Let's be nicer to each other. Let's be more understanding. We all got likes, we all got loves, we all got things we don't like. But that's us, that's our individual things. Respect, that's all we can give each other. But before I get too political, support freedom, support each other with love, respect, and dignity. Please. And go out and enjoy life, especially music. I mean, I love music. I did love movies. I would like to do reviews of movies down the road, but right now, with COVID going on, and hopefully that's ending, but hopefully things get back to normal and we can start enjoying life again. So anyway, have a good week. Keep smiling. Keep listening to music and keep reading and keep doing whatever you're doing and stay strong. And we'll see you next Monday.